Is Entity Framework Core slow, or are we just using it wrong? If you have ever felt like Entity Framework Core is dragging your app down, you are not alone. But here is the truth, Entity Framework Core is not slow by default. Most performance problems come from how it's used. Hello everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I will show you why Entity Framework Core feels slow and how to fix it properly. So let's see some of the Entity Framework Core performance issues. First is loading too much of data. Using include function everywhere pulls in entire object graph even when you need only a few fields. More data is equal to more memory is equal to slower queries. If you can see this example, here include function is used. So it loads all the orders plus order items. Problem with this query is it loads all the unnecessary column and rows. Now next performance issue is change tracking for read-only queries. Entity Framework Core tracks entities by default. It is great for update, terrible for read-only queries. Tracking adds extra CPU and memory overhead. Now third performance issue is querying entities instead of DTOs. Fetching full entities when you only need 3 columns is wasteful. You pay the cost of mapping, tracking, materialization, all for data you don't even use. Now, number four is no pagination. Loading entire tables into memory, it's a big red flag. Even fast databases can't save you from loading thousands of rows once. Next performance issue is n plus 1 queries. This is also called as lazy loading. Lazy loading feels convenient until your app fires dozens of hidden queries. One query becomes 1 plus n queries. And last performance issue is missing database indexes. Entity Framework Core can generate perfect SQL, but without proper indexes, the database is still struggles. So these are some of the Entity Framework Core performance issues. Now let's see how to fix these issues. So first is project to DTOs. Instead of loading entities, select only what you need. Smaller queries is equal to faster execution. If you can see here in this example, here we are fetching records from orders. So we are passing required conditions that what total and what ID which we have, and we want only data for that. So it will not load full entities. So this query will optimize our performance. Now next is disable tracking for read-only queries. We need to use as no tracking function for read-only queries. If you are not updating data, then tell Entity Framework Core that don't track this. This alone can give huge performance and performance gains. Now, whenever it's possible, use pagination. So, for pagination, you can use skip function and take function. So, if you can see this example, that we are telling database that we want only first 50 records. Skip 0 records and take 50 means it will fetch first 50 records. So, it will fetch lesser records so that we are not fetching unnecessary rows into our memory. Now next is avoid lazy loading. So prefer explicit queries so you can control uh, what runs, when it runs, and how many queries are executed. Now next is whenever possible, combine select and joins instead of lazy loading in loops. So it will fetch only required columns using select function. And last is add proper indexes. We need to add indexes on filters, joins, foreign keys. This is where real performance wins happens. Now let's see some of the Entity Framework Core best practices. First is use select function instead of include. First mistake I see all the time is using include function when you don't need full entities. Include loads everything, even data you never use. So instead project only what you need. If you can see this example here, we have used select function. So it will fetch less data so that less data is equal to less memory and faster query execution. Now next is use async everywhere. Entity framework core is async for a reason. Blocking calls kills scalability and slow down your app. So if you can see this example, we are using async and await here. So that like in the API end result will be fetched faster. Now third is monitor queries and execution time. So this is very important while writing entity framework queries. If you don't measure performance, you can't fix it. Log SQL queries for more further investigation. Also track execution time. Use iLogger or tools like Mini Profiler to quickly spot slow queries. Next is combine filters at database level. Never load everything and filter in memory. This is slow and wasteful. Always push filtering into SQL using where function so the database does the work and required only data will be fetched in memory. Now let's see the summary. Entity framework, uh, uh, why entity framework is slow and what we can do to fix it. So first is entity framework core is not inherently slow. Slowness comes over overfetching of data, tracking unnecessary entities, poor indexing or pagination, and n+1 queries. And we saw how to fix this. So basically, some of the major key points are DTO projection using as node tracking function, pagination and filtering, proper indexing, and async and explicit queries. Entity framework core performance perfectly at scale if you avoid overfetching, track only what you need, and optimize queries. So if this helped you, hit subscribe for more such videos and comment below what's the slowest entity framework core query you have ever seen. Thank you for watching.